And away we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm loving that volume. It's a lot better than what it was. I'm just loading up X hellscape, known as Twitter. Yeah, I was going to do a Sunday night broadcast, and I just could not do it. It didn't matter. Didn't matter what I did, didn't matter what I tried, I just could not. But we're here. All right, good morning, good evening, afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I am your host, Skeptically Speaking. Thank you so much for joining us. Please join in. We want to see as many as we can. Please like the live. Would love to see you live. So we are live on Twitter. I'm sorry, not Twitter. Excuse me. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Someday we will go live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube now. What am I talking about? Let's see. What do I want? Create a space. Yes. Is there a space for me? Let's see here. Only... Okay, what do I want to talk about? Let's see. Gatorade and hot tea. I'm loving it. Yeah, buddy. We got a lot to talk about. There it goes. All right, I have a space on X. So if you ever make yourself, I don't know. If you want to, I don't know. It's a hellscape over there. So right now I'm kind of fighting. I'm fighting a sore throat, and that's okay. I'm okay. I'll be fine. I got plenty of hot tea and I got some Gatorade. So let's see. Good morning, Sweet Pea. We have Sweet Pea on the line.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ashley. How is everyone today?
We're okay. I think we're okay. Let me just turn down the music there a bit so you can hear everybody. Can you go ahead and make sure you enunciate, P? I'm going to have the mic as close to your speaker as I can. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry you've got a sore throat. I hope you feel better soon. I will try and enunciate things as properly as I can.
Oh, it's picking you up good. All right.
Good.
I was a little worried there for a minute.
I'm just posting to Blue Sky.
Yes, please post everywhere. Well, good morning, good evening, or afternoon to you. I tell you what, what a day. I mean, we try our best. I tried to get the show hopping by Sunday, and it just wouldn't happen. But here we are. I can see that TikTok doesn't care to promote my video because I'm on a third party and I'm not on the app proper. That is such bullshit. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, TikTok. But that's okay. We're going to power through. So, we got a lot to talk about, and my God, do we have a lot to talk about? We've got a French senator weighing in. We got Teslas being vandalized. We've got MTG's boyfriend who looks like his soul is being sucked out. We've got Canadian booze tariffs. April Fool's tariffs, which are kicking in April 2nd. Not April 1st, April 2nd. And my God, we're going to listen to the idiot in chief. So apparently Nebraska's in trouble because all of the migrants and asylum seekers that were working in the state have on the farms and whatnot, they're all leaving. In Florida, entire places, entire neighborhoods that are being built, like community homes, gated communities, all of that work, all the construction work is halted because no one's showing up to work. They're afraid of ICE showing up. You got Matt Gaetz in trouble because somebody hacked a government agency. I'm not sure about all that because a lot of his files were, put under lock and key, and some hacker got a hold of them. And as far as we know, they haven't released them. We got Jasmine Crockett taking on the mayors. Well, she wasn't taking on the mayors as much as she was, questioning them. We got the hardened criminal comment from Fuckboy Johnson. You got gays for Trump. You got fuck off Trump. You got Doug Ford in Canada. Doug Ford is, I believe, the Donald Trump of Canada. And he's come out in favor of Canada First. It is wild. We got Andrew Tate off the rails, ranting about unbelievable, literally admitting to crimes on what's her name? Candace Owens' show. A Cybertruck driver who was in the Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans at Mardi Gras literally booed and heckled. I mean, unbelievable. 50% of the goal is complete. Yay! 80% of the goal is complete. Thank you so much. Live goal achieved. Thank you so much. And I know that was mostly you, Sweet Pea. But thank you anyway. For those of you listening, please like and subscribe. For the cost of a coin, you can renew. You can renew your subscription. Yeah, for a TikTok coin, less than a penny. Anyway, you can become part of the Skeptically Skeptics team. Unfortunately, they don't allow me to add all of my members to the chat, which is sad. So if you're tired, you don't want to be part of the chat, go look me up on Discord. You'll find me at Biblical History Skeptics. Biblical History Skeptics Discord. Or Sweet Pea can send you a direct link if you're interested. I'm skeptical of your skepticism. Well, I'm skeptical of your being skeptical of my skepticism, P. Mars. How about that? How about that? Cash me outside, man. That's okay. That's an old joke. Anyway, yes, please likey, subscribey. I would appreciate that. Man, we've got a lot to go over. I've got a lot of videos to play. I'm just going to start playing them one by one. Oh, by the way, do you want to see a picture of somebody not in a suit? Remember, not wearing a suit to the Oval Office is desecration. You know, not wearing a suit to Capitol Hill is desecration. Here's a guy, you might recognize him. Here's a guy who did not wear a suit when he met with FDR. How dare this miscreant? Do you not own a suit? How come you never wear a suit? This is Winston Churchill arriving at the White House dressed in battle fatigues to raise awareness of the war effort. And I'm sure a lot of people had a lot of complaints about him. Oh, yeah, he's just cosplaying, before cosplaying was a thing. Anyway, yeah, he's just in a costume. He's not a real fighter. He wouldn't last 5 minutes in a real war. Blah, 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 blah. Just like the maggots of today, the Republicans of today. But that's neither here nor there. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. Why? I didn't ask for comments to be filtered. Ticky Tacky, stop filtering comments. I want to, as long as they're not abusive.
I can't see what those comments were.
I can't see them either. They're gone.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Okay, French Senator Claude Malhuret. I cannot pronounce this with any dignity, sorry. Washington has become Nero's court, with an incendiary emperor, submissive courtiers, and jesters high on ketamine. I wonder who he's talking about. I just said Churchill was bulky. Well, I mean, yeah, he was. That got censored? How does that get censored? He was a chonk. Churchill was chonky. Okay? That's not controversial. That's just reality. I mean, that's what bourbon and cigars around the clock will do for you. Anyway, as I was saying, we are at war with a dictator. We are now at war with a dictator backed by a traitor. Yes, we are. How astute of you. When the French are on the right side of history, remember, France has a long history of colonialism. I mean, they were colonizing before America thought it was cool. Oh, thank you, 420 Atheists. Oh, bless your heart. See, no one says my beard is
Hi,
gorgeous.
Tommy.
420 Atheist on YouTube says, where has that beard been all my life? It's been on.
You know, right, Tommy? I know, right?
It has been hidden. It has been hidden. But thank you. I just thought a change would do. I thought, freak everybody out at work. Anyway, Teslas are being vandalized. How dare you? How dare you vandalize? Damaging the property of others, aka vandalism, is not free speech. This is from Elon Muskrat. So I responded back to him. I said, "You're vandalizing my country, bitch. Stop vandalizing my country." Shit. And you want to talk about not free, whatever. Go cry. What's amazing to me is Elon Musk didn't have fuck all to say about religious institutions, namely, what's the proper word for a Jewish assembly? Yeah, not a mosque. What the hell am I thinking? My brain is totally fried. I just got off of work. Can't you tell? Synagogue. Synagogues that have been vandalized by right-wing fundamentalist fucksticks. Not a word from Muskrat. Not a single word about that. But, you damage one of his products. He's got something to say about that. Don't you dare. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. Do you remember her? Him? Sorry, that wasn't very gender affirming, was it? Yep, synagogue. I beat you to it. You have to admit that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is.
Let's forget Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, I think you're in the wind. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. This is what this guy looks like now. He looks like death. I'm sorry. He looks terrible. He looks like he's got 1 foot in, man. Whoo, boy, does he look bad. I mean, you tell me. You do the math. This is what hate does to you. And when you're in proximity to hate, his receding hairline, look at that. He's lost. It's getting worse, man. His receding hairline is just receding and receding. And look at this alcohol-soused booze face. I mean, goodness. Ugh, I don't want to look at that anymore. But, hey, guess what? Jack Daniels is losing their ass. Jack Daniels is going through it. The Canadians have said, we are sick and tired. We are sick and tired of your bullshit. We're sick and tired of the ridiculous tariffs you're threatening us with. Guess what? We got tariffs in mind. We got tariffs of our own. Jack Daniels, 60%. I heard as much as 60% of Jack Daniels exports it to Canada. And they just took it right off the shelves in several, well, actually one state for sure, Quebec. And they just cut 600 jobs because they're losing business. They're like, we got to cut jobs. So, yay, good job, Donald Trump. Yay, well done. Look at those tariffs. Look at what they're doing. What do you have to say?
Well, I think Jack Daniels has only got themselves to blame when they've decided to put themselves in bed with fascists.
Well, to be fair, I don't know where the Jack Daniels company, whoever, I mean, I don't know where they sit personally, but the state. See, here's the problem. Yeah. Here's what people don't understand. These tariffs from Canada are being enacted against red states and blue states too. There are going to be some blue states that are hit, but mostly red states. In fact, they made a distinction. They said, we know who is doing this. We know who's attacking us. We're not blind. We see it. We see it. We know the states that are controlled by Republicans, and so we are going to target those states. We don't want any of their business. We don't want their booze, their products. We're going to go, hey, Good job, United States. You turned Canada into Canada first.
Yeah,
you turned Canada into a nationalist country when it comes to America. Go ahead, Sweepy.
I was just going to say, it doesn't help as well that Jack Daniels completely cut the DEI programs because it was too woke.
Oh.
I don't know if you've heard that. I actually done a video telling Jack Daniels to go fuck themselves for it.
Easy there, Sweet Pea. But wow.
Sorry.
So no, don't be sorry. So okay, there it is. This is what Target thought they were going to play cute and be silly by trying to play up to fascists like, Trump. Mm-hmm. And we're going to roll back, we're going to scale back our DEI initiatives. And guess what? They've lost billions of dollars so far. And guess what? The boycott hasn't even officially started. It starts this month.
Nope, it's the 15th.
Or no, the 15th. I don't even know what day it is. The 15th. The 15th of March. Right. Yeah, I see it right here.
Didn't a similar fate happen to Starbucks as well?
Yeah, they got hit. Starbucks got hit too. Not as bad as what, oh my God, I would hate to be Target. Amazon and Walmart are also on the chop block. We'll see. So let's listen to the fool in chief, the felon 47, because we need more of that in our lives. I'm going to go ahead and put my earbuds on because I want to make sure I can hear this. I have figured out how to be able to play videos and hear them at the same time. I'm so proud of myself. It took me, 4 attempts to do this? How many shows have I done with Streamlabs? I can't remember.
Ooh, I have lost count.
Yeah, it's got to be...
Every Sunday for the last 6 years? Yeah,
No, that's StreamYard. Streamlabs. This is different. This is a whole nother ball game. This is like a whole new world.
Probably 30?
No, not even close. Not even close to 10. Anyway, let's listen. Let's listen to the moron in chief. Here we go.
The tariffs, as you know, will start a week earlier than the reciprocal, which is going to be on a couple of weeks earlier. Reciprocal tariffs start on April 2nd. And I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to go April Fool's Day because that costs a lot of money, but that one day. But so we're going April 2nd. But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So
you know what the dirty little secret
build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. In other words, you build, and this is exactly what Mr. Way is doing, by building here. Otherwise, they'll build, if they did them in Taiwan to send them here, they'll have 25% or 30%
this
or 50%
guy doesn't know what he's
or whatever
talking
the
about.
number
This
may
guy
be
is
someday.
just fucking
It'll go only up. But by doing it here, he has no tariff, so he's way ahead of the game. And
yeah, I don't want to hear him. So Trump has already backed off on quite a few tariffs already. Did you know that? He's already backed off on Mexican tariffs and Canadian tariffs.
Canada?
Yeah. And his followers are like, oh, yeah. It's like you're like 3D chess. Oh, it's like
or Mexico or for Canada. No, the tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow.
A deal with Putin yesterday.
Mr. President, just to follow up on my.
Yeah, this guy is just too idiot. He's just what a dumbass.
These tariffs are going to be really good, like America's never seen, and it's going to make America great again.
United States of Canada from 420. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this is what you get when you threaten a sovereign nation. We're going to make you the 51st state. Yeah, that's real smart. If you want to make a country a 51st state, try Puerto Rico. Okay? The people are already American citizens. What are we waiting for? The only thing they do not get are the privileges of being an American citizen, even though they are. They already pay taxes, millions of dollars in taxes every year, that they never see. They don't see a penny of that in their country, hardly. How much money do we send to build in that country? How much are we investing in that country? Very precious little. So before you start talking about a sovereign nation or a sovereign territory like Greenland, you need to look to Panama. Look at Guam. Isn't Guam an American territory still? Why aren't they enjoying the rights and privileges of being citizens? What's stopping us from including them? We did it for Hawaii. Don't give me that shit about geography. Don't give me excuses. I don't want to hear excuses. We did it for Hawaii. We can do it for Guam. We can do it for Puerto Rico. Let's welcome our brethren in. It's time. Unbelievable. Oh no, we're gonna go after Canada. Yeah, real smart. Okay, remember during the Obama administration when Trump was tweeting out of his ass back in 2012?
So Donald Trump's own words are now being used against him from an old post in which he said any president who oversees a stock market crash in which the Dow drops by more than 1,000 points should be impeached and removed from the presidency. Here's his tweet from 2012. Let's give it a read. Quote,
if the Dow drops
1,000 points in 2 days, the president should be impeached immediately. Yet, that is exactly what has happened under Donald Trump's second term.
More than that, actually. I think it's been double.
Monday, the Dow dropped
Hasn't it been double?
650 points. And today, it is dropped by more than 515 points. So that is a drop of over 1,100 points in 2 days.
Yeah,
so according to Donald Trump's
what's fair is fair. Come on now.
He should be
I wish I could pause this video.
Removed from the presidency.
I wish I could pause it so it wouldn't
once in
stop.
My life, I agree with Donald Trump. It's time to impeach him.
Yes, it is. I agree. Yeah, the Dow Jones well over 1,000 points by this time, and this video is almost a week old. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he deleted that because he didn't want anybody sort of screenshotting it, but people already got a screenshot of it before he deleted it.
The internet is forever. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Forever. 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 Yeah, good luck getting rid of that. That screenshot is going to live in infamy. Okay, Nebraska is in trouble. By the way, Sweet Pea, can you hear the videos that I play?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Is there like a delay? Is there like a delay? When you see...
There is a 2-second delay, but that is normal.
That's not bad. 2 seconds? That's hardly nothing.
Yeah.
What are you listening to the videos on?
My phone.
I know, but what platform?
Well,
are you on
TikTok and
TikTok.
YouTube?
Okay. All right. Well, Nebraska is in trouble. Here we go. Let's listen to a TikToker from Nebraska.
This morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you, and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay, you knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay, and instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them.
Yep.
I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout? That's socialism. You voted against that. No. Sadly, the reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for minimum wage.
Yo, shot. Yeah, bye, she said. I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Can anybody tell me where the lie is?
There is no lie. Did you know that 60% of the food comes from Nebraska, especially eggs? What are people going to do now that they've alienated the workforce that was responsible for not only slaughtering the cattle, so most of the beef comes from Nebraska, so do the eggs, grains and other things. So they've basically poo-pooed themselves in the foot.
I mean, this is what you voted for. Congratulations, I guess. Are congratulations in order? This is what you wanted. I mean, it's like
this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of
it's
people
like
crying. Why is it?
She tried to. I mean, they tried telling us. They tried telling us, and we wouldn't listen. So now you're losing a major workforce. Your vegetables are going to rot in the fields or in a warehouse. Your eggs won't be collected. 60% of all eggs. Can you imagine that? 60%.
I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not.
60% is for the eggs, beef, grains, and other things they get from Nebraska.
Wow. Yeah. And we're going to see more of that. We're seeing it in Florida. We're seeing it in Texas. We're seeing it in... I know. Wow, we got what we voted for. I'm telling you, they are crying. Because now they're losing their federal jobs. Imagine the federal government being on the attack. Imagine listening to Trumpers yell about the bloated government. And federal workers said, you're right, the government is bloated. The government is too big. There's too many people working government jobs. And they had a government job. And so guess what? They lost their government job. And now they're crying because they're the ones who were let go. And I'm being nice about that. Oh, God. People are insufferable. Anyway, you remember Matt Gaetz? Who among us does not remember Matt Gaetz? Well, guess what? Matt Gaetz, a lot of his personal information got hacked, is the word I'm going to go for.
Now,
here we go.
Learning that hackers were able to obtain 24 exhibits from a secure file site.
Let me try that again. Let's see if this gets any better. I hope this is not going to interrupt this. Yeah, unfortunately, you remember him. Does anybody in TikTok land remember Matt Gaetz? Here we go.
Now, learning that hackers were able to obtain 24 exhibits from a secure file site that relate to the Gaetz allegations, along with a sworn testimony of the women central to the case. The Department of Justice has also seen this sworn testimony. We don't know who the hacker is. They used a pseudonym, and they haven't been tracked down yet. The hackers have not made the documents public just yet, and it's
Okay, so this
morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was
okay, so I think it's the video. So the first video I was played fine, and then this one is all glitchy, so I think it's the video. Okay, so bottom line is Matt Gaetz's information as far as what he was accused of and what evidence has been brought forward, as far as what what has been proven, it got hacked. And as far as we don't know who took it, we don't know where they took it, and they have yet to release it. As of now, they have not released it, but that is out in the ether somewhere. I want to play a little bit of Jasmine Crockett. We don't get enough Jasmine Crockett in our lives. Now, if you don't know who she is, she's a representative in Texas. And I believe she's in the House. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm
Jasmine
wrong.
Rocks.
She could be in the Senate now that I think of it, because she's on the committee with Marjorie Taylor Greene. No. That's the House. That's the House. Because Gomer, or whatever the hell his name is, he's the leader of that. Anyway, let's listen to Jasmine Crockett.
For today's hearing, by making sure that you got a little bit of information about immigrants and crime in your cities. Let me ask each of the mayors, just yes or no, have any of you been made aware of any immigrant that has had 34 felony convictions that has still been able to roam around in your city? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
34 felony convictions.
No, Congresswoman.
From the immigrants. Anybody?
I'm not aware.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because we are so concerned about crime, and I know that my Republican colleagues would never want anybody with 34 felony convictions roaming around because that could be a danger to the community. But I will move on.
Oh, the saucy shade. I tell you, she is unrivaled.
Oh my God, I love her.
Yeah, imagine if asylum seekers running around, well, not running around, but just living here had 34 felony convictions. Imagine if those, if asylum seekers had 34 felonies, or one, just one. What do you think these people would be crying about? They'd be screaming from the top of their lungs.
Deport them.
Deport them, get them out of our country, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And here they are, they elected an absolute felon and a rapist to be president. That's great. Yeah, and so this is my favorite clip of Ron Johnson and the felon 47.
From around the world to come here, including hardened criminals,
Remember get old. Hardened criminal. Exactly. Cognitive, exactly what he is. Love it.
And he would know about hardened criminals, wouldn't he? He would know about hardened criminals. Yeah, anyway.
From around the world to come here, including hardened criminals.
Yeah. We needed an instant replay, but yes, Mike Johnson did point to Donald Trump. He points right over his shoulder, right where Donald Trump is, and you could see Donald Trump giving him the eyeball going, "Man, you better not be pointing at me, man." Oh, did you know that there is an organization called Gays for Trump? I shouldn't say organization. I should say group of people. Gays for Trump. Can you imagine such a term? Imagine that's like saying chickens for KFC.
No, exactly. I don't understand how anyone in the LGBT community could honestly support somebody who's wanting to take our rights away from us.
Oh, they exist, and you wouldn't believe it. I mean, they exist. Let's listen to pushback, not from somebody who claims to be Gays for Trump. I really don't want to hear from them. They can go F all the way off.
Hey, Gays for Trump. How does it feel to have voted for a man that is now supporting Republican legislation that's going to make its way all the way to the Supreme Court, that's going to overrule Obergefell v. Hodges, which gave you the right to marry? How does it feel to have voted for your own demise like an absolute fucking moron? See, if you voted for Trump, I already know you're uneducated. But if you're gay, trans, a minority, and you voted for Trump, you're not uneducated. You're stupid. You're an idiot. That's the equivalent of a chicken walking into a KFC factory and applying for a job. Now, here's the thing. I still pity you. Why? Because my ideology is intellectually superior. I still want you to have free healthcare. I still want you to be able to get married. But Don't expect me to feel bad for you when you voted for this and it was already known. You already knew that this party fucking hated you, and your pathetic bootlicking ass voted for them anyway, because I was too focused on the economy. I don't know the name of that content creator. There's one gay content creator his whole ideology is about being gays for Trump. How does it feel to have been an actual fucking tool? You're a tool. You were used like a hammer. Pathetic and disgusting.
By the way, that creator is Valenti Videos. Yeah, Valenti Videos. Give him a follow. Give him a follow.
I actually followed him last week.
Oh, did you? Good. Good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for supporting people who make good quality content. Yeah, that's yikes. But yeah, I'm all for people who make good quality content. Present company excluded. I don't consider myself high quality, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so the Prime Minister of Denmark, or I think it was Denmark, and he had this to say about Donald Trump's delusion of obtaining Greenland one day.
Listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
And you know what? I think it's time we started using stronger language against fascism, against fascists. Here is a Canadian fascist talking about Canadian boycotts, Canadian tariffs levied against the U.S. I feel weird about even agreeing with this.
I said, number one, I don't start a tariff war, but we're going to win this tariff war. Right off the hop, I've directed the LCBO, we're the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, to remove every bit of U.S. alcohol off the shelves. I know my good friend, the governor of Kentucky, he's losing his mind
Andy
right
Beshear.
now. I said, you better talk to your president. Mitch McConnell, senior senator from Kentucky, they're losing their mind. We purchased over $1 billion of alcohol, 3,600 products, 35 states. It's going to hit them. We call them the kitchen table issues. Then we're going to cancel Starlinks right away from Elon Musk. Not that $100 million makes a difference for them, but it's principle. I've directed the procurement of over $30 billion of goods not to go to the U.S., to make sure we buy Ontario first. And if we can't find it in Ontario, we go across the country. I'm asking politely until I implement it. Every retail store, when you go look at the shelf talker that has the price, we need to see a Canadian flag on that price. A lot of people can't pick it up and scan it. So please work with us, or we're going to legislate it.
Wow. That's fascist Doug Ford. He was trying to he wanted to become prime minister, I believe, and he lost to Justin Trudeau. And yeah, this is the Donald Trump of Canada. And that's that is scary. And you know what? It's going to hurt. Go ahead.
France has demanded, being that things were just a loan, France have demanded that the US pay back the $1 trillion that was just a loan. And they've got till next Monday to pay it.
France is calling in a loan from the US?
Yep.
Well, that's not going to happen. Because Donald Trump is not known for paying his bills. He just doesn't. France isn't going to see a penny of that, but it's the principle. This is what we're doing. We're isolating ourselves from our own friends and allies. When we started the phony fake war on terror under the Bush administration, France was at our side, Great Britain was at our side, Canada was at our side, Australia, and a couple of others that aren't coming to mind. They didn't ask questions, they came and they showed up because we were a NATO country, and a NATO country had been attacked. Now, the response to that attack was absolutely atrocious. I'll be the first to say it. Make Canada great again. Well, Canada has always been great. They're just going to make Canada greater, I guess? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, make the West great again. Yeah, the entire West, I guess. God almighty. It's like we are dragging everybody down. Mexico is going to outpace us. China is going to start outpacing us because more countries are going to start taking their business away from us and going to China. Zelensky from Ukraine was already talking to China. We are losing. Andrew Tate. Remember the Tate brothers? Well, apparently, the Tate brothers are back in the loving arms of the U.S. These are the rapists and child molesters who literally bragged on camera about going to Romania because the laws were, quote-unquote, more lenient when it comes to raping of children. And so, what they were doing in Romania was so abhorrent and so grotesque that even the military came in and took custody of them and freed the hostages that were being kept on the property. We pressured, when I say we, I mean the Trump administration, pressured the Romanian government to release the Tate brothers to us, and they were shipped to Florida. Turns out Florida is not happy about that. Even Florida has their limits of how much scum they're willing to put up with. It turns out that Ron DeSantis does not have any love for the Tate brothers. He has no love for child molesters. I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, it almost seems like a prerequisite, but anyway, that's besides the point. 420 Atheist says Europe is shoring up their defense like never before too. Yep, basically they've said that if Trump is out, we'll do it ourselves. Yeah, basically, I think we're going to be kicked out of the big boy club. I already see it. We're not going to be part of NATO for very long, and it's just going to hurt us. I mean, we brought it on ourselves. This is what happens when you vote in favor of fascists. Andrew Tate. This is Andrew Tate literally having a meltdown on the Candace Owens schmatzy hour.
Arrest me, walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Fucking come get me, raid my house, take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me, arrest me, let's do this all over again. I've done it for—
You know, the sheer stupidity of this man is boundless. Mm-hmm. Why is anybody listening to this chode? This guy couldn't even get with a woman unless he held her against her will. That's not how evidence works. That's not how evidence works. You can wipe your phone all you want. You're going to have evidence on there. You are going to leave evidence. And all the evidence you've put on camera for the entire world to see. This goddamn chode, this incel, rapist, having a meltdown because Florida authorities are opening up an investigation into him to see if they can charge him. Even though he committed crimes overseas, he can still be charged.
Arrest me, perp walk me, put me on the news, tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think
It's
I'm
too
not
late.
versed?
They've already done
I'm not
all
ready?
that.
I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit.
You're a
Fucking
Navy
come get me,
SEal.
raid my
Yeah.
house, take my stuff.
You wouldn't
think I
last.
sleep with a
You wouldn't
phone
last
full of
12
evidence? You think I
minutes
don't wipe my
with
phone
Navy
every night? You think I'm
SEAL.
dumb?
With Navy
Come
SEAls.
get me, arrest me.
They would
Let's do
wipe
this
the
all over
floor
again.
with your ugly face. I mean, he would last longer than me, but what I'm saying is, this fucking idiot. You're a Navy SEAL. Navy SEAL in what?
A like him lasting? No, you definitely last longer than him.
Nah. Navy SEAL in what? What are you a Navy SEAL in? Abusing women and children?
Mm-hmm.
When asked what is AUKUS, AUKUS, Trump said what it is. It's the Australian UK-US alliance. Australian UK-US alliance. That makes... He's part of it and doesn't know what it is. Oh, he didn't even know it existed. Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Felon 40... Yeah, so...
talking about.
No. So Felon 47's ignorance is boundless. It is an endless sea of stupidity. Yeah, he had no idea that he was part of it. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
MAGA chodes and MAGA idiots have no idea how any of this works. At all. At all.
No, they don't. So there is talks about Trump being expelled from the Five Eyes, so they're going to turn it into the Four Eyes instead.
Four Eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they need to rethink the name on that, because I think just leaving it the Four Eyes is a little derogative. So
yeah, it doesn't say what you want it to say. We can rename it.
It really doesn't.
Sorry, I just wanted to see Andrew Tate crash out again. So
oh god,
I would like to see a Cybertruck get heckled. Who would like to see a Cybertruck get heckled? I would. Let's hear it. Boo. Boo.
Why is everyone doing it? Oh, yes, I love that. You got rid of your beads.
Did you hear that?
Wait, I love you, Roland.
Imagine ruining a parade by putting your stupid, ugly truck in the parade. Read the room, dude. No one likes you. No one wants to see your truck. They honestly think, and I guarantee you this moron is filming from the inside of his Cybertruck. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to trigger the lib so bad. And he thinks he's winning. He thinks he's winning. This Cybertruck that gets stuck in ice and snow, literally spinning out and it can't get out. Meanwhile, a Toyota Camry goes right by. It's like, how embarrassing. Where Elon Musk couldn't design a car. And by the way, he had no... I think he had very little to do with the design of it, except put his ugly name on there. You couldn't get one that could handle the elements. I mean, it's a cyber truck. A truck has certain specifications. A truck can handle the elements, right? Am I off? Call me crazy, but I think a truck is supposed to be able to handle things a little bit better than a normal car. And look how high that thing is sitting. Look how high that is. You mean to tell me you couldn't figure out a way? You couldn't figure out a way to make it to where it's industrial strength, heavy duty? This thing struggled through a shallow stream of water. It had to get towed by a Ford. How embarrassing. You couldn't even do better than a Ford in, industrial strength. I'm sorry. What do I know, right? But I know there are people that love those trucks. They love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. They love them some cyber, but I don't know. I understand. I love electric vehicles. I love the idea of electric vehicles, but we have other choices. You don't need to go to Tesla. You don't need to buy a Swatsta car. You don't have to go that route. There are better and even bigger vehicles that are all electric. And I can't wait until the day where electric vehicles just phase out the entire combustion engine. Sorry, I'm like, I can't think of what it is. Yeah, the entire engine, just the gasoline, the oil, just get rid of it. Can't wait. But, yeah, people are getting fed up. Oh, speaking of being fed up.
So you just think everyone should have food and shelter? Yes. Yes, I fucking do. And I am tired of people trying to convince me that that's ridiculous. Okay? I am tired of existing in a world where there are dumpsters full of edible food because someone didn't exchange the imaginary shiny rocks for it. Okay? Every single one of our problems can be traced back to capitalism and some asshole who wanted to make more money by doing less, and oh my God, we have...
Incorrect. I have to push back. All of our problems can be traced back to white Democrats not showing up to the polls, not giving a fuck about the electoral political process. That's where our trouble stems from. I would like to ask this young lady, did you vote in the last election? Did you vote in the election before that and before that? This is our problem. This is what becomes being disconnected. This is what becomes of just being disconnected from reality, where we think we're not touched by this. And even when we are touched by it, when we're touched by these issues and problems, we don't show up to vote. And we wonder why. We wonder why we have the system we have, and we wonder why the minority is ruling this country right into the goddamn ground. This is why we have the issues and problems we have. It's because we, white Americans, do not show up to the polls. And the ones that do show up, vote for the felon 47. The fuck is that? The fuck is that? Come on now. It's time to get political. Well, I don't like politics. It doesn't matter if you like politics. Politics influences every decision you make. Politics determines where you go to school, where you grow up, what kind of neighborhood you grow up in, how much money you make, and what kind of a success you are in life. Yeah, we claim to be the freest country in the world, land of the free and home of the brave, and we don't even show up to vote. Show me all the freedoms. We can't even keep kids free from gun violence. How free are we in this country? How free are we really? You got kids going to school afraid of getting pew-pewed and unalived in class. Because we have states with almost unrestricted gun access. We've got more guns in existence in this country than we have people on the planet. Now you tell me that's not a problem. Well, back in my day, we didn't have all this. Yeah, because we didn't have this much access to firearms. During the Reagan administration, our gun ownership per capita was basically the same as Canada. Something happened along the way. Something happened in the 40 plus years. What was it? equating gun ownership with masculinity and patriotism. And now we're awash with guns. We've got guns galore. And more people are getting shot. You got, but the criminals are... Yeah, the criminals are going to states with lax gun laws, buying them in bulk and bringing them back to blue states where guns are more restrictive. And they are, see, gun laws don't work. Yeah, gun laws do work when they're enforced, when they exist. That's why they go to your state, Bubba, Cletus. Maybe voting should be compulsory. I don't know. The United States are just... The people in this country are just stupid. They would probably vote for Mickey Mouse or some dumb shit if we did that here. I don't know. But we don't value the freedom we have. Look, millions of white Americans that showed up for Joe Biden did not show up for Kamala Harris. And you wonder why we've got the problems we have. You wonder why. And I'll scream it into the void if I have to. I'll keep hammering this point until we fucking get it. Until we get it.
Gonna read from Timothy Snyder's masterpiece On Tyranny real quick. Life is political not because the world cares about how you feel, but because the world reacts to what you do. The minor choices we make are themselves a kind of vote, making it more or less likely that free and fair elections will be held in the future. And the politics of the everyday, our words and gestures, or their absence, count very much. So when someone tells you that you're getting too political, it most likely means that you're now demonstrating a lifestyle that contradicts theirs.
Oops. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. And now we've got Canadians singing to us saying, hey, what's going on? What's going on over there? Where's all your freedoms? We've got freedom to do this. You know? Freedom to try to erase trans people. See if I can do it. I don't know why it's not working. But yeah, this is what the schmazzies did. They targeted trans people because they were the least protected group. And they felt comfortable doing it. They took their books, they took their papers out of the university. There was a huge university in Germany that specialized in gender studies and trans studies. All of that research material up in smoke, up in flames. All because they thought they could, erase trans people. And they're doing it again. They're doing it again, they're doing it again, and they're going to keep on doing it.
Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may
may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Kamala Harris warned us, didn't she? She warned us. She warned us this would happen. And everything she said came true. Hillary Clinton tried warning us. Warned about his connection to Vladimir Putin and Russia. Oh, they didn't like that. Here we are today. You want to complain about the cost of living? You want to complain about not being able to afford groceries? Keep voting Republican. Keep voting Republican and see where that gets you. You know. And with that, we'll say good night to Sweet Pea. Thank you so much for being on the show, joining me. We're going to get into Christ before Jesus, and I got to hurry up before everyone wakes up. We are going through chapter 8, which is the most dense, and we are almost finished. We've got that little bit, but it's a lot. That little bit is a lot. So we're going to transition from the political portion of the show, and we're going to get into Christ Before Jesus, the book. This is by Matthew Britt and Jaaron Wingo. Evidence of 2nd Century Origins of Jesus. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 8. First, personal letters are the most likely to be fake. Okay, I read that. I think I read the second. Oh, I read the signature, the third point. Onesimus. There it is. Onesimus. Finally. All right. Thank you, 420 Atheist. Feel free to stick around. We don't mind having you. Okay. Onesimus. It's likely that he is actually the reason the letter was faked in the first place. Whether the letter was real or fake, why was it included? Let's see. In a collection of religious letters. Philemon has little to no religious value, and even the other fake personal letters attempt to pass along some kind of instructional content. Philemon is only 25 verses, and nearly half of them are either introductory or closing content. The rest is dedicated to arguing on behalf of Onesimus. Paul puts his reputation on the line and offers to cover any of Onesimus's cost incurred his master Philemon. That's some serious vouching for. Paul must have really been impressed and cared about Onesimus. As we will discuss later, Onesimus turns out to be an important figure in the 2nd century. If the letter is fake, that's exactly the point. What better way to build the reputation of a living person than to have a letter from one of the founders of the religion speaking on his behalf? We know Polycarp and his students, such as Irenaeus, were insistent on the importance of being able to trace one's religious lineage back to the original apostles themselves. Not a problem. I can't help myself. I have to be political. I can't shut up about it. And this seems to be an attempt to do that. Philemon has escaped scrutiny longer than any other Pauline letter, simply due to how short it is. But once it's put under the microscope, it becomes clear that it's just a 2nd century forgery and attempted power grab. Now, I have to hear this. A power grab. Ignatius collection connection. We now look at what comes just below and connected to Paul's prison letters and the letters of Ignatius. Depending on the dating of the Ignatius letters, that could be the earliest references to Peter, and more importantly, Paul, that we have outside of the New Testament. Ignatius' letter collection consists of 7 letters, 6 churches, and 1 to an individual, while he was being taken to Rome to be executed. There are a number of unique themes in the letters of Ignatius, including the themes of martyrdom, suffering, and imprisonment. As we discussed in chapter 5, it is important It is possible that the letters of Ignatius are actually reworked letters from Peregrinus Proteus, a Christian author whose story and emphasis on his own death and imprisonment seem very similar to that found in the letters of Ignatius. We're told by Lucian of Samosata that Proteus wrote his own works, likely including letters to churches just as Ignatius did, and also edited Christian scriptures. While this sounds like something unprovable, our stylometric analysis did add a twist to the situation. As far as we know, Ignatius is the only church father to be writing while imprisoned during the 2nd century. It then becomes more interesting that the letters stylometrically match with Paul's prison letters. To make things even more interesting, they share a common character, Onesimus. As we just mentioned, Onesimus is mentioned in Paul's letter to Colossians and is one of the main characters in Philemon. In Philemon, we learn he is a runaway slave who Paul has converted to Christianity. In Colossians, he is going to Tychicus to deliver the letter to the Colossians. In Ignatius' letter to the Ephesians, not to be confused with Paul's letter to the Ephesians, Onesimus is bishop of Ephesus, and Ignatius feels the need to praise him and insists that the believers there respect him. We now have overlapping stylometric data, overlapping themes, and even a reoccurring character in letters that should be generations apart. Tell me it ain't so. What are the dates of these texts? Ignatius' letters are somewhere between 130s and 160s, with mainstream scholars preferring a date range of 130s to 140s. What about these 4 letters of Paul? The first time we see all of Paul's letters, excluding the pastoral epistles, is in Marcion's canon published in 144. What does this all mean? While it's difficult to say for certain, it looks like the letters of Ignatius and Paul's prison letters either have a common editor or a common author. What seems more likely is someone involved in editing or writing the prison letters went on to write or edit the letters of Ignatius. We have 2 main suspects, Ignatius, whoever he was, and Onesimus. If Ignatius was Peregrinus Proteus, then the story told by Lucian is someone editing Christian scriptures and also writing his own fits perfectly. The date range is also reasonable for this possibility. Proteus could have edited the Pauline letters sometime in the 130s, working with Marcion's school, and the letters were taken by Marcion to Rome, and then Proteus went to get arrested and write what would become the letters of Ignatius. On the other hand, if we consider Onesimus, we have a bishop both authors mention from a city they both write letters to, despite supposedly being a generation or 2 apart. It was commonplace for authors writing fiction or forging works in ancient times to name-drop themselves in relatively minor roles, as letter carriers, guests, and bits like that. If we look at the letters from their ostensible chronological order, we almost see a story of Onesimus running to Paul, eventually working for him, and then going on to become bishop. Both authors also go out of their way to show respect for the character despite his minor role. Interesting. If Onesimus didn't play a role in the editing or writing of these letters, he was close to someone who did. Before moving on, we want to bring up one final thing regarding Ignatius. If you counted, you likely noticed only 6 letters from Ignatius, though it's accepted that there are 7 authentic letters. The letters to Polycarp, the only personal letter in the collection, shows up so far away from the rest of the writings attributed to Paul and Ignatius that it would not fit in the image. As we discussed with Philemon, personal letters are the most likely to be faked. If any of Ignatius' letters were likely to be faked, it would be the one to Polycarp. Interestingly, the recipient, Polycarp, has a single letter which is possibly a forgery as well. This letter seems to have been presented as an introductory letter to Ignatius' letter collection, making the single personal letter Ignatius sent a bit more suspicious. It's possible that both these letters were created to serve the purpose of bolstering the credibility of both authors and tying Ignatius closer to another, more orthodox figure such as Polycarp. The latter letters. Next, we get a number of letters that come later in evolution to Christianity. Of this group, 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy and Titus are falsely attributed to Paul. The vocabulary, the church structure, and other content in these letters are so vastly different from the rest of Paul that they have been known to be inauthentic for centuries. They were also not part of Marcion's letter collection in 144, meaning they were not written by that time. Interesting. As mentioned in chapter 5, it would seem that Polycarp and his scribe Crescens makes a cameo in 2 Timothy, and 1 Timothy mentions Gnosticism as well as Marcion's work called Antithesis. So we can confidently date these letters to 150s to 160s at the earliest. Continuing down the image, we see 2 Peter and Jude. Jude, supposedly written by the brother of Jesus, despite the author never outright claiming to be, seems to be mentioned by Athenagoras in the 170s, and then later by Clement of Alexandria in the 190s. It's one of the shortest books in the New Testament, and given its length, it can be hard to get a good stylometric read on it. 2 Peter, on the other hand, is a little longer and often quotes verbatim from Jude. We don't get attestation to 2 Peter until the 3rd century, and Origen says that some doubt its authenticity. The writing of 2 Peter is drastically different from 1 Peter, neither of which could have been written by the Apostle Peter, and 2 Peter also seems to know of a letter collection attributed to Paul. We don't get a mention of Paul's letters or a collection until 144, so we know this text is late. Given their late first references outside of the Bible, it's reasonable Jude was written sometime between the 140s and 160s, and 2 Peter from the 160s up to earlier to the end of the 2nd century. In fact, it's quite possible 2 Peter is the latest Christian text that made it into the Bible. We then have Titus, 2 John, and 3 John. Titus was most likely written by the same group of authors as 1 and 2 Timothy, and 1 and 2 John. They're very short, personal letters with very little theological content, ostensibly attributed to the disciple John. The texts actually never mention the name of the author. They say the elder, which in Greek is presbyter. This was a title given to a certain John the elder, but whether he was actually a disciple of Jesus is not clear, and different church fathers give different answers to the question. Let's see. Look at the screen. You ready? Let me know when you're ready. You'll have to jog me. Ready for what exactly? Oh. Runs through chat naked to hug you. Okay. I think that's what you mean. Look at the screen when you're ready. Sure. Let's see here. Oh, I can't change anything right now because I'm not connected. Okay. Sent you a GIF. Okay. I'll look at it later. All right. The book's on the... Okay. Let's see. It is possible that another elder wrote the text, as elders often was used for those over the age of 50. 2nd and 3rd John are the shortest books in the New Testament, with 13 verses and 15 verses, respectively. They are of the length of actual letters of the era, and unlike most of the works attributed to Paul, were probably genuine letters rather than religious treatises attempting to pass off as epistles. Because they are so short, we combine them in our study to get a better chance of an accurate stylometric read on them. We assume they are written by the same person, though based on these results, it's likely they were not written by the same person as 1 John or the Gospel of John. Okay, I cannot see the GIF in here. Sorry. I cannot see it. But thank you for the GIF. In 3 John, we read the author, supposedly the leader of a Christian community, and his associates getting rejected when visiting the nearby churches. Somewhere along the way, members of this group of churches started falling into some form of heresy. This heresy could have been Gnosticism, Marcionism, or something along those lines. When this is revealed, the author writes 2 John to various true churches, telling them not to follow the heretics into their communities if they preach such things. This is in verses 7 through 11. 2 John ends with the hope to meet and talk in person, as the author says he does not want to write. This is another reason to think that this person was likely not the same author as the other works attributed to John. We have one other reference point we can consider for these texts based on what we know of the church in its early years. Polycarp was likely had a hand in writing the pastoral letters attributed to Paul, claimed to be a student of John. Traditionally, the John attributed the writing much to I can never say this word, Johannan, from John. Content had its base and location in Ephesus, not too far from Smyrna. If there is any truth to these traditions, this would put Polycarp in the same religious community as this elder writing Second and Third John, and it explains how these otherwise unimportant letters were collected and added to the Bible. Eusebius considered 2nd and 3rd John to be disputed texts in his time, possibly attributed to another John. Irenaeus writes about 2nd John in the 180s, but 3rd John doesn't get attested to until the 3rd century. The Muratorian canon only lists 2 letters of John, and we only hear of Origen. Oh, well, calm down. Don't get too naughty on me. Not without me. Okay, Muratorian canon only lists 2 letters of John, and only hear of Origen knowing it through Eusebius. Dionysius of Alexandria, a student of Origen, who held the title of Pope from 248 to 264, seems to have read it or at least known of it. However, given their size and lack of theological content, it's unsurprising we don't have much use of them in early Christianity. Our guess is that these letters were falsely attributed to John sometime around the lives of Polycarp and Irenaeus, and originated from the John community in modern-day Turkey. This would put the letters anywhere from the 140s to 170s. Okay. I'm going to soldier on. I'm just going to... Okay, in Exhibit 3, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see here. Let me tilt it just so. Okay, it's not focusing. The Sammy sandwich. Okay, in Exhibit 3, we see the remainder of Pauline letters. This branch contains 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Romans, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, Galatians, and perhaps, surprisingly, 1 Peter. We will return to 1 Peter later, but for now, let's get started on the letters in this group attributed to Paul. Gatorade time. The Thessalonian letters and 2 Corinthians. Because they are off on their own branch, we are going to start with 1st and 2nd Thessalonians and then return to the remaining letters afterwards. While 1st Thessalonians is considered authentic by most mainstream scholarship and 2nd Thessalonians inauthentic, our stylometric investigation indicates that the 2 letters are both from the same authorship community, along with a portion of 2nd Thessalonians. The understanding of the Thessalonian letters varies from scholar to scholar. Some believe the letters to be complete and whole letters with only minor interpolations. Some believe them to have significant additions from later dates, with only a portion of the letters being the originals, and others believe that they are both composite letters. We did attempt to run splitting the texts, but the results were not significantly different, and some of the resulting letters were too small to work with. As such, we left them as they are found in the canonical verses. While it might be tempting to say that these are from the same author as Romans, 1 Corinthians, Galatians, since they come up broadly together, the stylometric distance between the Thessalonian letters and these other texts is greater than we see between Paul's prison letters and Ignatius's letters, almost as distant as the prison letters are from the pastoral letters. What we are likely to see here are different authors with a common editor. In short, there is a different author or authorship community responsible for Thessalonian letters. If both Thessalonian letters are inauthentic, as the results show, it opens their date ranges up to 144 CE, when they are both published by Marcion. Do we have anything that might suggest the dates of these texts? Do we have anything that might suggest dates for these texts? We might. 2 Thessalonians 2 contains an extended passage on the man of lawlessness, or man of sin. This section is written as a prophecy, but as with other prophecies such as this, there are actually descriptions of current or recent events. We see similar prophecies used as literary devices in Revelation, Mark, and elsewhere. Likewise, the author of 2 Thessalonians is describing a person active around the time the letter is being written. Ooh. The person described in 2 Thessalonians 2 is said to be performing false signs and wonders, takes or sits in the temple, exalts himself above all others, including God, will be revealed after an apostasia. The root of the modern word for apostasy, but literally meaning falling away or defecting from something, leads people to believe that wrong things and will be destroyed by the breath or the mouth of Jesus. In particular, the line about the temple stands out as a potential marker in time. Was there anyone who sat in or otherwise tried to indicate the temple was theirs or otherwise treated it as their own? There are three possible answers to this question. The first is Caligula. Caligula, the Roman emperor from 37 to 41 CE, who according to Josephus and Philo shipped a statue of himself to be put in the temple. However, the statue was never put up due to Caligula's death taking place before its arrival. Furthermore, this is too early even for traditional dating of either the Thessalonian letters with traditional dates to 48 to 51. The second option is Hadrian, the Roman emperor from 117 to 138. According to letter sources and other references in the Bible, Hadrian had a statue of himself and Jupiter placed on the temple. Multiple authors attest to this, including Cassius Dio and Jerome. Hadrian also worked towards a revitalization of Roman culture, which included pushing Roman religion and the imperial cult, which fits the description of leading followers to believe false things from the perspective of 2 Thessalonians author. Hadrian, being a Roman emperor, was also effectively a god in Roman culture, and given his statue was alongside that of Jupiter, the description of being exalted above all others also fits. And as with any figure of this stature, also had miracles or signs attributed to him as well. Oh, you mean like signs and lying wonders? Amazing. Finally, the last possibility is Simon Bar Kokhba. Bar Kokhba led a rebellion against Rome from 132 to 136, until he was defeated by Hadrian at great cost. Prior to his defeat, coins were issued with his symbol, a star, above the Jewish temple, which at the time had been destroyed. Some believe that once he took Jerusalem that he had a makeshift temple built, but it's uncertain whether this was done. The Bar Kokhba symbol over the temple on the coin might have also appeared on any makeshift temple, and such a move might be seen as claiming the temple for himself. While it seems unlikely that Bar Kokhba's forces ever took back Jerusalem temporarily, only some Bar Kokhba coins out of our large total volume of them have been found inside Jerusalem itself. Even the image could be enough to offend. We do, however, know from later Christian authors that Bar Kokhba persecuted Christians as they would not fight for him, meaning Christian authors of the time would likely have an unfavorable opinion of him. He was also known for supposedly breathing fire, making Jesus defeating him with his own breath a possible reference and form of retribution. Breathing of fire was also interpreted by many as a sign. Some translations also interpret apostasia as rebellion or defection from Rome, which could also be another possible indicator that either Bar Kokhba or Hadrian was the subject of this section. Some also point to 1 Thessalonians 2 as discussing the same subject, in which the author of the letter discusses how the wrath of God has come upon the Jews at last. Such a phrase would really only be reasonable after the destruction of the temple in 70 or defeat and razing of the region in 136 after the Bar Kokhba revolt. The destruction of the temple in 70 wouldn't fit given the traditional dates of Paul's life, even if we could posit a figure the section was about, meaning that Bar Kokhba revolt is the subject just as it is in the little apocalypse in the Synoptic Gospels. Given Caligula is out as a possibility, and there are no other figures that come close to fitting the description in 2 Thessalonians, it must be talking about either Hadrian or Bar Kokhba. Fortunately, this matters very little given the figures were active at the same time. The return of Jesus and his destroying of the person by his breath was one part of the passage the author had actually made a prediction of happening rather than describing current events, and he was wrong. As such, it was written sometime shortly before the death of the person in question. Bar Kokhba died in 135, and Hadrian died in 138, meaning 2 Thessalonians was written somewhere in the 130s. 1 Thessalonians, giving it stylometric similarities and passages containing reference to related events happening, would seem to indicate a similar date range as well. To be in the oh goodness, I'm going to be in the Discord. I'm going to be on call. If any of you listening want to chat, want to talk, it'll be open discussion. So if you are already in the Discord, come join us. If you want to be a part of the Discord, message Sweet Pea and she will send you a link. Not a problem. So, yeah, buddy.
Pressure. Feeling pressure. Feeling pressure.
Awesome show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been the Biblical History Skeptics podcast. Thank you for joining us. I love doing these shows. For the faithful few. That's okay. That's okay. Ooh, what a trip. My phone is fully charged. I cannot believe this. Oh, yeah. Shutting down for the night. Yes, come join us in the Discord. My volume has never been this good. Whew. It can be better. Wow. I just got to get into the settings and perfect it. Whew.
Pressure. Feeling pressure. Feeling pressure.
Good night, guys.
Feeling pressure.
Oh, now we get 5 viewers. Where'd everybody come in? Make sure you're subscribed. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, we had 2 viewers in the stream the entire time. Now we got 5.